Inferiority complexes are garbage. Complete garbage. My entire life, I was kind of made to feel not inferior, but pretty much everything I liked to do, pretty much everything I enjoyed, whatever was taken down, and just if it wasn't something so-and-so enjoyed, it was always on me, right? So a lot of my life, I felt so inferior to people, to so many people in my life, for what now I understand to be pretty much no good reason. So I got about 60 pages into Maxwell Maltz is his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And something that I kind of wrote down in here is, and this is a quote from the book: "You are not inferior, you are not superior, you are simply you." And I think that's pretty incredible, because when you sit back and realize that you're not, and especially if you also have it also helps if you have a superiority complex. It's just kind of rare, but a good amount of people have it, but the people that have it don't accept that they have it like the people with an inferiority complex do. So pretty much what that quote means is that God created all of us equally, but uniquely. So no one person can be judged by the standard of which another operates, if that makes sense. So on at least on a scale of, like, okay, person at school, right? Just in my experience, more athletic than me, jumps higher, runs faster, whatever. If I value those things, and if I'm like, oh yeah, based on that value system, I'm inferior to this person, and that's all I go off, and I'm like, oh man, that person runs faster than me, that person jumps higher than me, I could never hope to be that, and he's better with people than I am, or something like that. It makes no sense, because I also have things that he doesn't have. In his mind, he might be thinking, oh, well, this guy's, I don't know, let's grab an example, smarter than me, or this guy does better in school than I do, or this guy is so much better because he doesn't have to be around all these garbage people. Like, if you're not, if you can't come to terms with the fact that you are you, and stop, it's almost like it's almost like that advice where it's like you need to stop comparing yourself to other people, but it's also realizing that the comparison is crap, because again, no one person is ever going to be exactly the same as the other, and God made sure that it's that way. So to want to be like another person, and to wish to be another person, is in and of itself not only impossible, but it's you'll destroy yourself in that pursuit. Because how can you ever hope to be another person? You're never going to be another person. You're you. So that in that sense, it means you're not inferior and you're not superior. I don't exactly know where I'm going with this, but my point is that there's no reason to like be so self-deprecating when you understand that you as a human being were given your characteristics, yours, not another person's, but yours, and you need to own that, man. It's like why would you ever want to be another person when you could be you? Like, it's so baffling. It's like, and when I read that, I was like, man, that makes sense. Like, that makes more sense than being so discontent with who I am, and being so discontent with who I'm not like or who I am like, because you're never going to be exactly the same as another person. And I might be talking in circles. But it's just to say that there's no point to have that inferiority complex about you, where you're like, oh yeah, what I do isn't enough, who I'm not like isn't enough. And again, that's something that I've struggled with all my life, is feeling inferior to my older brother, inferior to my friends, inferior to his friends, inferior to the adults in my life, because I mean they've lived longer and they just made me feel inferior for that. And the point is that I don't want to be my older brother. I don't want to be his friends. I don't want to be my friends. And the idea that I wanted to be that way, and the idea that, oh yeah, well, like, my older brother's always been stronger than me. Like, just by birth, by how we were raised differently, he's always been stronger than me. And that's something that I've always hated, is that I can't ever be as strong as him. But something that he's always hated, and he said this, is that he can never be as smart as I am. And then I'm like, it just like brings to mind that thing of like, both of us are both finding things about each other that we love and that we want to be more like, but we can't find that ourselves. But we're also resenting the person for being like that because we're not. It's almost like that. It's almost like a loop of like, I don't like you because I'm not like you. That makes no sense. Or it's like, I don't like you because I want to be like you, but I'm not like you. And that makes me feel bad. And then the other person's doing it too, and you're like, where are we going with this? It makes no sense. And it's just like, what in the world, man? So yeah, like I said, inferiority complexes are crap. There's no reason to feel inferior to anybody when God made everybody not only equal in value, but in uniquity. You know, that is to say, the quality of being unique. It's a word that I recently adopted into my vocabulary. But your uniquity is what makes you you. It's what makes me, Aiden Boyer, what makes my brother Dylan Boyer, what makes anybody who they are. You know, what makes my friends like whatever, I can't even think of a name right now, or maybe I don't want to share that information. But the point is, it's what makes you you. So why would you be so discontent? And why would I, as Aiden Boyer, want to be Dylan Boyer if there's already a Dylan Boyer in this world, and I could be more than that? So it's like, and especially when you feel superior to someone, where you're like, oh yeah, I'm better than that person. Nobody is better than anybody in God's eyes. And I don't want to get too incredibly religious, because it can get alienating. But from the way I see it, as long as you are morally sound, God loves you in all four of the major religions, all three of the major religions. And in Christianity, especially certain sects of Christianity, God loves you no matter what. Which is where I'm at. But the point is that if you accept that unique that uniquity between you and, like, there's no one on earth that's the same as you. Out of 8 billion people, you are different. And I think that's crazy. And knowing that you have your own set of capabilities, why would you not want to express and fulfill those capabilities to your highest ability? You know? Where it's like, why would you not want to express being you to the highest ability instead of expressing being someone else to your ability, which is so much less than you expressing being you? Because I know that I have an inclination to be smart. I know that I have an inclination to whatever. Like, that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that I was born with. But also, I know that I have the capacity to be strong. I know that I have the capacity to be a lot smarter than I am, and I know that I have the capacity to think bigger thoughts than I already do. So why would I instead look at this other person and be like, oh, well, they're so much stronger than I am, and they're better with people than I am? Why would I look at that person and try to be them when I know the potential I have, and I could fulfill that, and I could even outgrow that potential as time goes on if I work hard enough, if I practice and practice and practice and practice. It's like 2 years ago, I would not have been able to speak like this. Not to a camera, not to anybody. Honestly, I was really awkward when I first got down here to Texas. I was so awkward, and the way that I got over that was by being social. Was by just talking to anybody. Because I knew that I had the capability. I knew that I, Aiden Boyer, could talk to people, and that I wasn't socially stupid, socially dumb. Actually, dumb is a better word for that. Socially dumb. I wasn't socially dumb. I knew that wasn't just like at the end for me, where I was just like I was always going to be bad with people. I knew it wasn't that way. So it was almost this thing where it's like, well, duh, you know what I mean? But in any case, you are you, and your uniquity is what makes life worth living. You being unique and you having the characteristics that you have is what makes life worth living. If you're inferior, if you have a weird inferiority complex about you where you just always feel like you're not good enough when you measure up to another person, stop measuring yourself up to another person. God did not create that person for you to look at and be like, I want to be that person. If he wanted you to be more like that person, if he wanted you to be that person, he would have made you that person to begin with. And a superiority complex, it's like, I don't know a lot about that because I have never, a little bit I've had a superiority complex sometimes, but it's not a chronic thing for me. It's not like a constant like, oh yeah, I'm definitely better than that person. But when you finally reach Judgment Day, when you finally reach the altar, you're not going to be looked at as superior to your fellow man. You're not at all. And there's no reason to feel superior to anybody, because just like how are you going to measure yourself to someone else's standards, how are you going to measure someone else to your standards? It's like saying that person is not as good at being me as I am. It's like, duh, you're you. Like it's so completely ridiculous. Anyways, I think that's about gonna do it. Remember, wanting to be better is the first most important step. See ya.